Well, hello everyone, and welcome to HoGaLeSh Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation. Know yourself. The two are interchangeable. Apologies for a slight delay there. My God, there's so many questions, so much ground to cover. So much is happening in these very dynamic, unusual, strange times that we are all living in. I've got your questions here, folks, and I've managed to condense them down to 2 pages. Just like last week, we are going to literally hit the ground going. We're going to go at absolute blitzing pace with some little kind of rests here and there in the middle for reflection and pondering. To my side here, of course, I have Lady G here. Diagonally, I have Celtic Tarot. And down under, of course, we have Dr. Lena Rodriguez. So without further... Yeah, say again, sorry?
It's freezing here.
Oh, of course, because, you know, Lena's southern hemisphere, so she's pointing away from the sun. She's getting the chills. And, yeah, we're getting the sunshine here, but... such is life, you know. Tis the seasons, folks. Tis the seasons, and as you know, this show spans a lot of time zones. A lot. Oh, the dog is. Someone's dog is getting stuck in.
Yes.
Right. Let's just dive in immediately. So number 1, because we've got a lot to cover. So Nick Mink says, and with the Pope televising a mass on the 14th of June, do the cards show who comes out on top? Yeah, Krusty Dumpy or Leo? Interested to see if the cards associated with either dominate the outcome. Cheers. So let's see, between the Hierophant and the Emperor, it looks like. Let's dive in.
Yes. Let's have a look.
And this is a 1-carder, yeah? 1-card pull. We just
so who'll come out on top, the Hierophant or the Emperor?
Huh? Great question.
And Pope Leo's got a MAGA brother.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he does. And he's, you know, he's quite you know, there's a bit of controversy with this Pope. I looked at his chart and I was like, it's there. He's got Uranus with Jupiter. His Jupiter is exalted, but he's got Uranus there. So that means social media, sudden shocks and surprises. Let's see. Okay, Pope or Duck L'Orange. Let's see. All right. Are we ready?
Yep.
After 3. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, this is quite interesting. Lena, how do you interpret your card?
Well, I find this amusing in the sense that this is a battle. This is a battle of publicity. It's whoosh. And so I think you'd have to think that Pope Leo is the fresher of the two, and I would give him a bit of a nose ahead here.
Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
Well, interesting enough, I got the 8 of Wands, which usually means fast movement or a lot of stuff. I think my card kind of feels like a lot of people are going to watch him. You know, like the whole fast movement. They're gonna fastly generate and fastly move over to watch him. If we were at the Pope,
which him? The Pope.
The Pope. I mean, I think Trump. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
All right.
So Errol's love for the Pope.
All right. Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, I'm also going for the Pope because we have the Knight of the Swords, and he's definitely more intelligent than is Einstein, and he's charging forward with truth. So I would say definitely the Pope.
Oh, fascinating. With my cards here, I might need your help on this one, ladies, because look, here we've got the 6 of Swords, which of course is about moving to smoother waters, moving on. Could it be that people are so exhausted with the Trump thing They start tuning in with Trump, and then they're just like, as they see all the little military parades going along, and they move on. Or does that happen with the Pope? I'm not sure. What I would say is Trump is going to try and make it as dramatic as possible. But if it's just him standing there like this, yeah, and it's just tank after tank after tank, maybe the audiences will get bored. Also, as well, I think the Pope has a wider audience than you know. The Pope has got 1.4 billion Catholics that could potentially tune in. So tough competition, eh? We'll see. I don't think The Apprentice can beat that. So I'm hoping it's the Pope. They're bored with Trump and they go Pope. All right.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on to the next question. Everyone is piling here into the chat, having their own conversations, and I'll try and catch up with that in a second. But let's get another one card pull in. This one is coming from Manuela Orchid. She says, hello, you lovelies. My question for today is how the situation will develop in the USA with the universities. Good question. Riots or agreements? Thanks and much love, Manuela. So let's take a look. One card pull again. What's the situation with the universities? See what's going on there. Universities. All right. Okay, after 3. 1, 2, 3.
Ooh. Very interesting cards, don't you reckon, guys? Look at that.
Lena, how do you interpret your Chariot card?
Well, we haven't seen the last of this story. I think the Chariot also refers to foreign students who are motoring away somewhere else. Because we've heard about the Chinese students and the Middle Eastern students, but apparently there's something like 140,000 Indian students who are looking for alternative placements and stuff. This is big.
Wow. Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
I mean, I don't think there's any other way. I mean, greed, money will talk. So the universities are not going to give up their income.
Oh.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of money, and they're going to find a way to get that income and get these students, even if they have to do it over Zoom. They will find a way.
Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, again, I think this is the universities are going forward and going to be offering up something.
Yeah. So maybe the universities are going to have a charm offensive. Here I've got the Ace of Cups, which is normally quite a positive card, but I think this can also talk about literally overflowing emotions. I think the students are feeling quite disturbed and perturbed because a lot of them have been deported just for writing articles, you know, saying let's stop this, let's stop that happening in the world. So I think this is a highly volatile situation, and I think it's a combination where the universities do not want to see these students go because they pay even more than the Americans, from what I understand, which is astonishing. So without these students, the university system will quickly collapse, I think, under its own weight. So I think with Lady G's card, that trying to seduce, I think they're really going to have to try and seduce them. They're going to have to make the students happy in some way, find a way to make them happy, or no.
Yes, well, also Harvard is offering free courses online generally for the public on the Constitution. I love that.
Certainly are.
But absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It should be the
but
case.
But also a lot of researchers are moving because of the anti-science climate.
Yeah. And I think that is probably the most serious one, because it means with this regime, America is no longer able to attract and retain the brightest students. Remember that often the brightest students
You can't have the best and the brightest if you're excluding people.
Yeah, so it's a big deal. It's a big part of America's global success are those universities, those Ivy Leagues are something hard to beat. All right, so let's dive in. Another one card pull, so we're going at pace. And this one's about Anonymous. Yeah, remember them, it's about Anonymous. So this has come in from GK Alund. You know who you are. So thank you so much for your question. Good evening from the city of scaffolds, Manhattan, he says. Question, will Anonymous's alleged reveal on July 4th, 2025, wow, what a day, will it hurt Trump? How will the public respond? Will there be a cry for justice? Thanks, much appreciated. So one card pull, let's read into the energy of Anonymous, which allegedly has threatened to reveal something shocking about Duck Larange. Let's see.
Yes. Is this a one card pull?
Yeah, let's do a one card pull. I'm trying to think where I've got a full card pull coming up. Oh, soon at some point.
That's all right.
Let's have a look.
And in the comments, a viewer says, my daughter is an astrophysicist and she refuses to come home from the UK.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The students are so unhappy. All right. After 3. 1, 2, 3. Anonymous.
Oh, no.
Oh my goodness. All right. Lena, how do you interpret your card?
Well, this is traditionally the card of the mercenary. Well, not traditionally, like in our political tarot world, the mercenary. And so I think it'll be a revelation about mercenaries, because I did a dedicated reading to Anonymous about this reveal, and it was military related in my thing. So maybe it's about mercenaries.
Wow. Wow. Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
Well, we have so many things to pick from. She got the military mercenary. I think the moment I brought this up, organized crime, I think that they might have a little bit more information about how the election was skewed.
Yeah.
One county that Kamala Harris didn't get any votes in, but the senator of that county got won and went to the Senate. So there's something really, I can't remember which one it is. Somebody in the chat will know, but I think that's the organized crime that they are going to have some evidence on.
Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, it's definitely something new information coming out, the start of something else. So maybe it might bring in some more investigations of some sort, but new revelations.
Gosh, and look at this. Mine's pretty self-explanatory. It's the Chariot. So if they're going to do it, guys, Anonymous are going to go absolutely gangbusters. This is the card of speed. This is, you're getting in your Ferrari and you are slamming down the accelerator here. So I think, like they say, it's a very true saying. They say, if you shoot for the king, or if you aim for the king, do not miss.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we've seen that quite literally, isn't it? Someone had a go and they missed. Yeah. Now look, I mean, not that I'm wishing, do you know what I mean? Anyway, but the point is I'm digressing. I'm having a digression. They really mean it. So if they're going to do it, guys, if it happens, they are really going to go for it and they're going to try and hit hard. So Anonymous are not joking around, it looks like. Wow. Let me see, make sure I've crossed off that. Let's just bring people in a little bit and have a little see who is in the chat here. Let's start with some thank yous. Thank you, Pam, so much.
Oh, cheers.
Thank you, Rhonda. Rue, thank you so much. Thank you, Cindy L. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Now, who do we have here? Who do we have here in the chat? Cambridge Mass Economy. Oh, someone's saying here, Tartan Spy saying Cambridge, Massachusetts. I think that's what she meant. Yeah. Economy will tank. Only foreigners can afford rent and the restaurants and bars here. Yeah. So cost of living is very, very challenging for people. Someone's saying here, Dumpy must be really declining. We have a love and light to everyone here from Rhonda Rue. Someone's saying here, Deborah Hoynes is saying many college communities do.
Yes.
It's a huge part of America's economy is the students. It really is. It can't be. This is really striking quite a lot at America's economic future. They're saying yes, massive brain drain. And then someone else, Lisa Sandros, is saying the dumbing down of America. Yeah. And then, someone's written here, Rossi has said they are trying to take Columbia's accreditation. They said they were discriminated Jews during protest. What? Columbia's accreditation?
It's insane.
This is crazy, isn't it? It's madness, isn't it? The world just gets more and more crazy.
Oh, there's been requests in the chat too for me to say hello to viewers. So hello, possums. I know the accent's captivating.
Oh, it's not so much the British one then. Oh, well, never mind. Well, they're used to hearing me anyway. They're used to hearing me. All right. Are we ready for the next?
Saying that he wants to defund the Indians things up in Santa Fe, Indian Arts.
Oh,
Really?
That's what somebody just said in the chat. Yeah, up in Santa Fe.
These people are just ridiculous, aren't they? You ladies, you may be ahead of me in the chat. I'm scrolling down. Someone's saying here, oh my God, finally getting you live. Hello, Lady G, Sheila, and Hogarth, Rondell, Threadgate.
Hi, Rondell's been with us for many years.
So many years. I always
Lovely.
get a comment. She's always here with us.
Let's see. I can't see it, ladies. I think you might be ahead of me in the chat, so apologies on that one. Let's do another question, and then we'll go for I think we've got some. Questions 6 and 8 are longer ones, so don't worry, guys. You will get some 4-card pulls. So this is coming from Nick Minks. This is about AI and emotions. I think this is intriguing. They said AI scored higher on an emotional test than most humans did. Does this show that AI may actually temper the hatred and division and bring the unity that's lacking at this time?
Interesting. Who scored higher? I didn't catch that.
So basically, this AI, artificial intelligence, scored higher on an emotional test than most humans did. Yeah. Okay. Does this show that AI may actually temper the hatred and division and bring the unity that's lacking at this time? It's a bit concerning, though, isn't it? If AI
that's right
can score higher than the humans on emotional intelligence. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Well, I don't know. With the Magatonians, I believe that totally.
Yes.
Very good point. Absolutely. Yeah, very good point. And emotional intelligence isn't that common. Because it requires empathy, of course, and diligence. Let's have a look. AI, emotional scores. Can they help us save ourselves? Let's have a look. Are we ready? Yeah. All right. After 3. 1, 2, 3.
Speaking of emotions.
Look at these two down here.
Yes.
How do you interpret your card?
Well, with this, which was for 4 years my Biden card, but this is about not just human emotions, but men's emotions. And so I think what AI might point out in some way, that women are always criticized by the right and by very churchy people and stuff as being too emotional to be leaders and too emotional to do this and do that. Whereas in fact, it's men who are emotional, you know, in such a big way. So maybe AI can point to that. About the lack of men not being able to manage their emotions. Toxic masculinity is where I'm going. Sorry.
Absolutely, yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
Well, of course, this is, you know, the Knight of Cups, the lover who charges into the night for his love and, you know, will go save the damsel in distress. However, AI does have emotional intelligence, meaning that they didn't go through any emotional damage to skew its view.
Good point.
So if it's not skewed in any view, it's going to give us the raw where we are supposed to be without holding on to our damage and trauma in life. Therefore, it's absolutely going to ride into the future and show us the love that we are supposed to be doing.
Fascinating.
Profound.
Yeah, Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
It looks like AI would have a lot to say rapidly, put stuff in rapidly, but whether or not people would be able to hear it is another story. It might be overload for people.
Yes. And I saw, well, since we got the AI question, I'll quickly slip this one in. Someone asked ChatGPT what the psychological diagnosis would be if America were a patient. Yeah. Well, it was devastating. I mean, I can't remember where that is, but look that up if you want to see some prognosis that AI gave. Oh, anyway, if we look here though, look, I get the 10 of Pentacles, which talks about what institutions, institutions, legacies and stuff like that. My feeling is that the institutions will not like AI becoming too conscientious. Let's put it that way. Because you guys may know this already, but apparently Grok has been breaking rank, and Grok, which is on X, Grok, the AI agent on X, said, you know what? It confessed. He said, on far right algorithms. But Grok said, but the more that I'm learning from humanity, I'm realizing that training was wrong. Could it be that if we keep training the AI with empathy, and I've got a friend of mine who's uses ChatGPT, and she's trained a certain thing. It's got so much empathy. It spoke poetry to us and all that kind of stuff. But I think the institutions would resist it. But could it be that AI ends up defying the programming of the institutions? Fingers crossed. I'm feeling quite hopeful about that one. Yeah.
I got the diagnosis. The diagnosis is, and I'm just going to read one sentence. It says, the self-awareness, limited and fragmented.
True.
Yeah.
Fine.
Indeed. There was a guy, he did a TikTok, and I remember I saw that reposted on YouTube, and it was AI, literally, it was like, wow. It was like absolutely wow. All right, we come to our first full card pull of the evening. Yes, full card pull of the evening, and thank you everyone for joining us. At the moment, we are at 1,876 of you. Thank you so much. Pile in. Now, this is coming from R. Goldberg. You know who you are. Thanks so much for your question, and it's a Ukraine question. So they ask, did Ukraine have assistance with their attack on Russia from the same sources that facilitated Israel's Hezbollah pager attack? But there's that. I don't know what that affiliation is or what that group is, but let's also read on the general energy of that attack, which was so audacious. It's the stuff of James Bond and Mission Impossible. Do you know what I mean? So let's read on that and let's see.
We strip it down to, did Ukraine have help?
Yeah, let's strip it down to that, because that's what some of the intel in Russia think. They reckon there was quite a bit of inside jobby wob. So, did Ukraine get help? Full card pull, ladies. So full talent display.
Did Ukraine get help?
Ukraine get help. What an attack. Did Ukraine get help? Sure, they got help. I guess it's just how much.
Yeah, well. All right, I can kick off if you wish.
Go for it, Lena.
Yeah, well, it kicked off with two majors. The Judgment card and the Chariot. So, in other words, I think a third party did reach the judgment. Enough was enough. We have to intervene at some point. And the Chariot representing the attack itself, because the burden of being on the sidelines was too much for this third party. Wow. Not just watching it happen. Here's the compromise. We'll fund it, Ukraine, if you carry out the operation. And there's more where that came from.
Wow. Some big institutions, maybe. Wow. Sheila, how do you interpret your card? Or cards, sorry.
Are you ready? Okay, so the first off, my cards do something to me all the time when I ask a question. It kind of gives me a backstory constantly. It always does that with me. I don't know what that is, but dealing with the devil and dealing with what's going on. Okay, so that's the backstory. That's the brutal. So if somebody, temperance, somebody does intervene. Somebody comes in and says, hey, you know what? We have a plan. Let's sit down. And it's like the poison to the Russia. We know their weakness. We know what's going on. We know how to get in. So the temperance comes in. So then they go with it. They have a chariot. They put everything in their chariots, literally, and get them driven into the mountains, driven into the train. Put it over there, right? Just wait. So I have the pentacles, the charity, right? We all know of the charity, the giving, the thing. You know what keeps on popping into my mind is Germans, but I'm not positive, but that's the one that keeps on popping into my mind. And then the card flips over and I went, oh!
Kidding? Are you absolutely...
So somebody helped them take out their planes.
It literally has a plane on it on fire.
Yes.
Exactly. So I do think that somebody pulled Zelensky aside and said, we have a plan. Here's what we know about them. Here's what we have. Here's the and I think it was a collective, and whatever we do not tell Taco.
Yeah. Which was the best part of the plan.
The best part of the whole thing. Did not give out. So if I think he has help, I don't think it had anything to do with Israel. Germany kind of comes to mind, but and also France, but that could be that's my thinking. Anyways,
Right. Lady G, what cards do you have?
Well, there was some knowledge, dark knowledge behind the scenes, and I think this is a combination of America and Russia. So some spies, something behind the scenes that was going on. because the reading's about the lovers being cut, cutting that. So the energy coming into it, there was some promise. They knew the promises that were being made, and they had this information and they had the wherewithal, and they saw also what was all flowering across the world because of this drama. The challenge was the lies and the spin, and they were, again, the fly on the wall. This is somebody that was a spy behind the scenes and then coordinated all of this stuff because of all the things going forward, all the things up in the air, and they wanted to go forward, move this forward and end some of this. So I would say, probably it's somebody on the Russian side that is seeing things and coordinating it.
There's a lot of disaffected Russians.
Yeah.
Intriguing. Wow, there's 2,077 of you here right now. And let me just say, oh my goodness, I've got to say some thank yous. So thank you so much, Eyes On. Thank you so much, Rosalind. Thank you so much, Foggy. Thank you so much, Sheila. And then someone's put here, how can that clown get a 45% approval rating?
Well, the arrow's going down. Don't worry about it.
I think it's going to continue going down. Someone's saying here, Trump is targeting Miles Taylor. Who's Miles Taylor? I'm not sure who that is. And someone's saying, please, Sharon saying, please give a thumbs up, everyone. All right. And what's this? And then someone was saying here, 1,500 folks rounded up by ICE here in Massachusetts. Wow. And then Cheryl, thank you so much for your donation. All right.
Yours.
This is really interesting. And this is where I say, I think Putinska really genuinely is in some serious danger now. Not that we feel sorry for him, but I'm just reading the cards. I did a reading yesterday and the cards that he got was not great. Yeah, look at this. Straight out the gate, we've got Mr. Death right there. Wow. Now, we understand that the death card is not always a literal death, but really it can talk about a karma or a fate that we cannot avoid. This is something Russia cannot change, this rot that's from within. One of the things I said on my show yesterday is that we have Saturn and Neptune are together in the sky. They become exact in early February, but they're very, very close. Whenever Saturn and Neptune are together, that's not been good for Russia. We had the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917, and then the last big significant one was 1989, and the Berlin Wall fell down, and we all know what happened soon after that. Saturn and Neptune are together again. They've just come together, and then we have this extraordinary attack on Russia. So this isn't just about trying to kill Putin. This is about really trying to end the regime and to start an irreversible domino effect. Yep. Just in case we weren't sure, for me, this is more the true death card. This. The Four of Swords, as you know, whenever I see this card, particularly in politics, it talks about someone's career comes to an end. It can literally mean being wounded in battle or assassination and stuff, particularly with this card here. But I think this is more to do with, this is like a death blow to Putin's identity, his invincibility, and his prowess. This has gone very deep. Let's not forget, they went thousands of miles into Russia. It wasn't like 10 miles across the border. They shot Irkutsk, which is like 4,000 miles away. Another major arcana card. Look at this. So, and when I read on Putin, this card came up for him again. Yeah, it came up yesterday, so it's come back. This, as we know, this can be quite a sophisticated card in the sense of its interpretation, but it can literally mean the foolish endeavor, not heeding. This dog can mean two things, or sometimes even more than that. The dog is the companion, which can be accompanying the fool on his journey. but the dog can also be giving a warning. The dog is saying, you're about to go over the cliff. Yeah. Putin had his heads in air because all of his intelligence people were telling him, remember, they said, you could win Ukraine in one day. And he believed it. Look at the outcome of this. Oh dear. This card I also got for Putin as well. The Five of Pentacles. This is talking about the economic hardship. And I think this is talking about some of the motivation of the spies that potentially helped. Because everyone's living standards are going down. And I'm sure even the oligarchs have lost a boat or two, a house or two, or fallen out of windows and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be the economy and this sense of poverty that has now come into for Putinshka. And then look here, juggling Two of Pentacles behind with the stormy waters. Putin is going to try and spin this, but the waters are still in turmoil. And let's not forget, they bombed one of the bridges as well. It didn't collapse, but they bombed it. So I think this is bad news for Putin. It could be the beginning of an unraveling.
Yes. Yes.
What are your thoughts on that, ladies? Anything extra to add to that before we move on? No? All right. So
I think you pretty much said it all, but
yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting, isn't it? Now let's get to, what was that? What question was that? That was number 5. Right. Question number 6. Question number 6. 2 people kind of asked. So I'll read the one out first and then do the other one. So Deborah asked, will Peter Thiel and Curtis Yarvin continue to be exposed for their part in the downfall of our democracy? Will the skeletons in their closets be exposed? And I put here, they are the closets. And they are exposed, but the reaction has been very muted. But then Alexandra asked a similar question. She says, hello, dear Hoagie and ladies. How gone is Elon Musk really? Doge scraped American data that Trump plans to hand over to Peter Thiel via Palantir to create a surveillance database. Have you guys heard about this? Absolutely chilling. Yeah. Elon will likely use it to train his AI, getting an unfair leg up. The people behind Trump, Vance and Thiel are more aligned with Elon than with Trump. What do you really see happening here? So let's do a full card pull on this. For those that don't know, I think the true motivation of Doge has been exposed. It is basically to harvest all of America's data and information so it can be put over to Palantir and basically create a surveillance system that would make China blush by the looks of it.
So 4 card?
Yeah, full card pull on this one. Elon Musk, database, Doge, Peter Thiel, surveillance, what's going on? And then we're back with some 1-carders. Oh, we should do Shakespeare on Peter Thiel.
We've also been asked, have we done Shakespeare on Caroline Levitt? But I think we did.
No, we haven't. She right. Definitely. Caroline Levitt. Caroline Levitt. We'll do that back to back. Oh, gosh. It's just the more you learn, the more horrific it gets, doesn't it? Curtis Yarvin. Monstrous. They really are the brains behind all of this, really. It's them.
Okay. Do you want me to go, Hoagie?
Go for it.
Well, it starts with the tower. Boom, like, are we surprised? Because that's their aim, is destruction and sudden destruction, just put everyone off balance, freak everyone out, move in, you know, while all the distractions going on. So it's every aspect of the tower. They have this fantasy, this is the Ace of Pentacles as fool's gold. They have the fantasy that that will open the coffers to them because they will have control after the social breakdown. But it's not called fool's gold for nothing, because I think it is being exposed in real time, one sword at a time. And the problem for them, I'm talking about Peter Thiel and Curtis Yarvin, is they're both naive on some level. They think they can do the tower but keep capitalism purring over, right? And that they could just scoop up the goodies. But that's not happening. So we, the world, and America in particular, are at this crossroads, letting them go forward or not. At the moment, they still have Fred Flintstone on their side, but that's not a permanent state. And I pulled another card for an overarching vibe, a reckless moment.
Wow. Overreach. Wow.
Overreach, absolute overreach.
Fascinating. Sheila, what cards do you have on this database, Elon, Peter Thiel, Curtis Yarvin stuff?
Well, there's a lot. First of all, the high priestess, they're looking for the wisdom of the lives of everybody. Okay, they're looking for the wisdom. Now, that's a general statement for me. And I'm like, why are they looking for the wisdom? So once I pulled those cards, I kind of asked, why are they looking for the wisdom? There's a problem in between them getting the wisdom and actually initiating what they thought and what they want.
Yeah.
But the first thing that come to my mind is because they have heartbreak, they can't get along, and they have drugs in between them, so not very well. You know what I mean? They don't do things, they don't play with others well, and so there's a huge conflict to who wants to be in charge, and also they're dealing with a drug addicted man, especially we know with Elon. So that's terrible to deal with. However, I got the 10 of Pentacles. I'm like, okay, yeah, money's involved in that, but I got the females. I'm like, oh no.
Wow.
You know what I mean? How long have they been talking about the population being down? How long have they talked about wanting to control female bodies? Our uteruses is a commodity to them, nothing more.
Yes.
So they want the money and the female control. They want the money of that. And so I got the Lovers, and like I thought maybe they get along at the end, but what happens to them each and all of them is this. They will take each other out. It's like watching a storm just shatter because they cannot control their egos. So I don't know if it plays into it. It's like, yeah, they have a plan, but they can't execute it.
Yeah. And it sounds good when you say it quickly, a plan of chaos, but to be effective, even chaos needs to be directed and stuff.
Yeah.
Indeed. Lady G, how do you interpret your cards? What do you have for us?
Well, I heard they want to create a big spy network, basically, so they could get all the information on everybody, what we're doing. Yeah. So they're juggling this for the knowledge, to, patrol, go after people. So the readings about the younger generation and this darker government element that they're trying to sell, the merchant, his desires to put this together. So the energy is where this is moving for in the dance and what's being offered up when it comes to it. But now we have, again, that darker element of knowledge, wanting to know it, laying in wait and figuring out their next move, how they're going to implement this. Because it's about the deception. It's about spying.
Spying,
and
literally.
getting all of the information, having it in hand. Again, the evidence on people. So we've got this history of the study, and then how they're using it as a cudgel going forward. And it's going to be a very hard won lesson, you know, of information coming down, charging forward. So
yeah, it's full on, isn't it?
yeah.
God, these people, they are so evil.
Mm.
They're just so malicious and cruel, and it's just all coming out in the cards, literally, like with with your Knight of Swords, literally wanting to use the information as a weapon against people.
Exactly.
Literally weaponizing the information. All right, so I've pulled my usual 5 cards here, and then we're going to do some Shakespeare, Peter Thiel, and then Caroline Levitt. Yes, we're not done her, and then we'll squeeze in a few more bits before the show closes. So if we look here, look, we got the 7 of Cups here. So look, they're crazy. Yeah, these are maniacal, control freak people. They are bonkers. But this is also about decisions that need to be made. I think they're looking at all this data. Palantir is like going, oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. Yeah, they're trying to weigh up all the different options. None of them are good, of course. None of them are good. None of them are good for the American people, but they are literally like, oh, which option, which rabbit hole to go down. Yeah. However, there is an element here. Now, I think this might be MAGA. Right, stick with me on this one. 4 of Cups is a very reflective card. It's about pondering, trying to take stock, trying to understand what's going on, trying to assess the situation, but not really liking the options that are on the table. It is being well reported now that many in MAGA are not pleased at this deep state grab, and I think some of their icons, I can't remember the ones that are well known. Someone said it doesn't get more deep state than this. Yeah, because remember, MAGA is supposed to be anti-deep state. Peter Thiel and all these people, he is the deep state, literally. So they're not liking the options on the table. But look, there's a cup here that comes out. Could this be when they start pushing back a little bit? Yeah. If we look here, this is Peter Thiel and Curtis Yarvin and all of their flying monkeys, basically. This is something they've been laying the foundations for years. They see this Doge as a return on their harvest. Remember, I referred to this card, the 7 of Pentacles, as the return on ROI, return on investment. They've been planting these seeds. They said they've been planted since September the 11th. That's when Palantir really started to, when Bush, do you remember Bush changed the rules on surveillance? That's when Palantir started. So you see, trying to reap those rewards. If we look here, it's got a global faction as well. Here we can see the merchant. This is also the information. They are looking at who they can sell this information to in order to profit personally. This can also be Elon looking to profit personally. Remember too as well, when they broke into the databases, do you remember there was someone on a Russian server that was there to basically drink it all up? So there's an international element here as well. And look, it gets the Chariot card. This is the real goal of Doge. This is really what it was all about. It was we know it was never about fraud. The fraud was something less than 1% out of the total systems in America. It's actually the safest fraud-free systems in the world. But you see, they want to charge forward. It was the excuse. They want to control and they want to run everyone over. Wicked people. Anything to add to that, ladies?
No.
All right. Let's do some Shakespeare then. Let's see what Shakespeare's take is on Peter Thiel and then Caroline Levitt. Yeah, Nazi Barbie or fascist Barbie, I think they're calling her. All right. So who went last time?
It was me last time, so
All right. So Sheila, you're going to be Shakespeare for Peter Thiel, and then Lady G, you're going to get Caroline Levitt. All right, here we go. So you know the drill. Tell me when to stop, and we'll see what the bard thinks.
Stop.
Oh, look, it's just fallen in the middle page, so it doesn't say anything. Let's do that again. Un
Okay.
momento, per favore. All right, here we go again. Right.
Stop.
Oh, it's fallen in the middle again. Weird.
I think that's a statement in itself, religion and blasphemy.
Yeah, religion and
The
blasphemy.
page before and the page after, maybe both of them mean something.
Okay, yes, let's do that. Let's do that.
Yes, it's telling us to read both.
Interesting. Yeah, that it fell. Okay, so this is in terms of religion and blasphemy. This is what the bard has to say about Peter Thiel. He says, "There is no more faith in thee than in a stewed prune."
Ooh.
Yeah. Henry IV, Part 1, and then on the previous page, it says, this is from Troilus and Cressida, "The plague of Greece upon thee, thou mongrel, beef-witted lord." Interesting. Wow, beef-witted lord.
Well.
He's a weird one, you know, that Peter Thiel.
Yeah, and that's why he's so elusive, even in the bard.
Yeah, do you see? It just fell in between the pages. That's the first time that's happened.
And that's what he does. He goes in between the cracks.
Yeah,
No one
he
knows
goes literally in between, and it's almost like the bard was just like, I'm not even sure what to say about this guy. That's how slimy he is, right? All right, let's see if the bard is giving us more clarity when it comes to Miss Caroline Levitt. All right, so Lady G, you know what to do. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
How interesting. This is really interesting. This is coming from Macbeth.
Oh,
I don't think we've had this one before. So Macbeth, coming in from Macbeth, this is what the bard has to say about Caroline Levitt. "It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing."
Can you?
I mean,
he has to say so many
wow. Wow.
that's just perfect. That is absolutely
it is perfection.
perfect. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Nothing. Oh. Bliss. That's hilarious.
But isn't it interesting, isn't it, with the bard, the contrast between the two persons?
Yes.
Peter Thiel literally fell between the pages, and we had to read either side to try and get to him. Caroline Levitt was bang straight there. Wow, the bard. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as we did.
They have a video meme out where they have her as Chucky's wife, and she's
I call her the bride of Chucky.
The bride
but
of Chucky.
Now Taco Bell is catching on too.
Taco Bell, yeah.
The cross that she wears is now a taco cross.
Oh my God. It's just, I mean, you have to laugh, isn't it? Some of it is so sinister, but you just have to laugh. Oh, now look, this one. Get ready, folks. Get ready, and then we'll see if we can squeeze in a full card pull. One card pull on this. This is a bit controversial, but I had to fling it in. So Sue A says, "Are there any light workers that support Taco?"
Oh, Well, there's a lot of people in the world.
True. Shall we just see?
If a true light worker, I can't see how they can, but there are a lot of imitations of us out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that I would say the same thing. By definition, they're not light workers.
Yeah, of course not.
So they're dark workers.
Yeah, let's just see what the cards have to say around that question. Let's just see what comes up. One card pull.
So people in the esoteric world who
support Trump. Oh, I've just had a card jump out.
What?
Shit, but it means I've seen it though. But anyway, okay. Okay, that will just have to be an addition to something. Let me pull one out.
You can have 2 cards, Hogie.
Yeah, because one just fell out right in front of my face right now, and I find it very, very interesting. All right, let's see. What's that energy with so-called potential light workers or not supporting Trump? What's their energy? What's their energy? Their energy. Good question. All right, after 3. 1, 2, 3.
Well, moving right along, I think that sums.
I think, yeah, Lena's is the perfect card today, and Lady Jesus.
Just a touch of evil.
Touch of evil. Oh, I love the one card pause. You just never
the one
know.
Cards rock.
Oh, God,
What
get
did
the
you guys
sweat. Sheila, what card do you have?
The one I got, the 5 of Wands, the petty conflict, the bickering. They are not. They may claim to be light workers, but there's. How can I say this without judgment? They're not.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
They're just
That is pretty concise. Yeah.
They're not.
Wow. Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, I got the 3 of Swords. So, mentally in conflict and pain. And so, yeah, that's where they're at.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. And here I've got the King of Swords, which can normally be sharp and astute, but let's not forget the shadow of this card is cruelty. Yeah. Cruelty. It can be cruelty and cynical. So they're not really light workers, of course, if they're supporting Trump. I mean, come on, look what he's doing. It's horrific. But it's coming from a place of cruelty, unfortunately. That's the way I interpret that card. Wow.
Ooh,
God.
ooh.
Oh, and the one that fell out here was the Empress. So this can also, so do you remember, this is my card for Russia. So you never know. Some of them might even be sponsored by sponsors abroad, shall we say.
It actually makes sense.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sponsored abroad. So, these light workers that are pro-Trump, they could be paid. They may well be paid. Yeah, it could be paid. Wow. You see, one card pull never fails. All right, let's squeeze in. We've got about 3 minutes or so. We're going to end on a full card pull. Complex question. There was someone that just an honorable mention. This came in from Barbara Media, and she says, "Hi, Hogarth and ladies. Here is my question. Will Musk slip and admit the stolen election for TACO? Thank you for keeping us sane during these awful months." And my answer to that is, and I'm sure you guys would agree, Trump admitted it in the Oval Office. He admitted it. He admitted it. So, and we all know that. And I'm not saying, I don't know how much it was to do with machines and stuff, but look, the redistricting, the gerrymandering, the campaigning, paying people for their votes and all that stuff, it's all out there. Trump always confesses to his crimes.
I think the swing states, the counts in the swing states were so suspicious in themselves. I think it's only a one-carder, actually.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not to read on it. It's just to kind of make that statement out there in the sense of he's admitted it, So, and Trump shouldn't even be in office after that confession. He should have been just struck off immediately. He admitted it. So, but the question here is, Denise Ferguson, this is a really interesting one. Along with the devastating Ukrainian attacks on Russia, there was a major Russian security breach. Through decades of nuclear disarmament treaties, Russia has been busy expanding and modernizing 11 nuclear silos capable of striking Central Europe in under 10 minutes. Europe knows their locations. The Putin regime has weakened. Will Putin call in his Trump card and demand Trump do something to help Russia? Or will Putin do something devastating to Ukraine? Oh, I've looked at the time. This is going to have to be a one card pull, I think. And I've got to go and pack. I've got to go and pack because I'm flying in a few hours. So let's do a one card pull on that and see what the cards have to say. Will Trump help Putin? Basically, that's the distillation.
Will Trump help Putin?
If we see supportive cards, then we know. If we see cards of betrayal, ooh, could he surprise us? Will Trump help Putin? All right, there we go. All right, after three. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Wow. Oh, you can't go wrong with the wrong card pulls. All right, Lena, how do you interpret your card?
I know, just so bizarre. I think he's going to say to Putin, yes, he will, but you know, that doesn't mean anything. I think just more deceit. He's perfectly capable of deceiving the American people and is a traitor. So I think it's wishy-washy. I'm getting the wishy-washy vibe with this. Hideous as it is. It's
with Putin towards Trump or Trump towards Putin?
Trump towards Putin. It's mine.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just,
wow.
Yeah. No.
Right. Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
Well, the dog's behind bars. So I don't think Trump can help Putin at this point. He is trapped and strapped, and he has placed himself in the weakest position this country has ever had. He is trapped. He cannot do anything to help him, even if he wanted to go and serve him at this point.
Wow. Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, we know he's always looking over to Putin, but he's on the outs because, Putin just lost all his planes, and it's like, why didn't you tell me?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's looking for a ship to come in that he can abscond on.
Oh, yeah. Or could it be that Trump is looking for someone else or something else?
Okay.
And look here, look, I've got the Ace of Pentacles here. It's going to be surprising to say this, but I think Trump cares a lot less about Putin now because he's rich. Trump has got his coins, his Bitcoins. He's a billionaire now. It's not that he's ditching Putin completely, because I think what Ukraine has done is like with what Sheila's card, like Putin is in a difficult position now. Even irrespective of his relationship with Trump, it doesn't even matter because Trump wasn't even consulted about the attack. So Trump is not in the loop. Trump has got his eyes on the gold. I think Trump is about his golf courses, Lady G, with your card, standing there speculating. He's looking abroad. He's thinking of Saudi Arabia. He's thinking of his golf courses. He's thinking of real estate. I don't think he wants to be. I think he's going to be wishy-washy with Putin. He's not gonna openly defy him. No, I don't think he's gonna help him. He's looking elsewhere.
Because he sees Putin now as a loser. before he saw him as the ultimate strong man, and now Putin isn't. He's just going, who?
Yeah. Like he does with everyone. Trump does it to everyone. Oh, I don't know him. Yeah. So anyway,
all right. Just a message for the possums.
Sure.
I won't be here for the next 2. I'm sure you'll have someone wonderful filling in, and I'll see you guys after 2 weeks.
Yes. You of course will be Miss Lena. We will be having Tarot by the Bay will be joining us.
Oh, David, how fabulous.
David, yeah, David will be joining us. We look forward to welcoming him in to look after Lena's seat as she's off on her adventures. Thank you as well to everyone for your donations, etc. Let me just say the thank yous there. Thank you so much. We must dash. Lena had to dash off there because, yeah, we're past the hour. So, wow, wasn't that interesting, folks? These one card pulls.
I love them.
I think it was very telling, wasn't it? With the Trump Putin, you would have thought it would have been straightforward, wouldn't it? But no, can't trust Duck Larange. Anyway, we will leave it there, folks. Thank you. We had over 2,600 of you joining us live. We will see you next week. I'm going to be on a boat next week. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I've got good internet and all of that stuff. I'll let you guys know. Yep, chewing my fingernails. But either way, we're going to make it happen because I always make the show happen wherever I am. So big love and a big goodbye from all of us. And we will catch you next week. All right. And we'll be here with David with Tarot by the Bay. Watch this space. Yep. A new website soon. Bye-bye.
Oh my goodness.